Welcome to the Advance Your Art podcast, where we talk about the journey from artist to entrepreneur and everything in between. You've worked hard to hone your craft. Now take it to the next level with tips, techniques, strategies, and routines used by successful artists to grow their businesses and careers. Now, let's get started and have some fun with your host, Yuri Cataldo.
Well, hello, James. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just great. How are you, Yuri?
I'm doing well as well. Just looking forward to the holidays and taking a break for a bit.
Yeah, no kidding. I could use one, that's for sure.
Sure. It sounds like you've been very, very busy this last year.
Yeah, that's the nature of writing a book, it seems, is that there's a lot of waiting and then slow slogging through stuff. And then as you get closer to launch date, it's holy crap, there's so much to do. And that's the phase that I'm in right now.
Sure, I bet. So let's get started with a little bit more about yourself. So how do you describe yourself and what you do?
Well, I am primarily a writer. It's I'm a writer with specific expertise that I give people advice on. I began primarily writing about health and fitness. I've been, had a column with the Los Angeles Times that was a fitness advice column, and the Chicago Tribune, and wrote for men's health and women's health and all that kind of stuff. But the way that I describe myself is more of being a writer than being a health and fitness expert. That was my real talent, was as a communicator. Mm-hmm. And over time, I kind of started to get a little bit tired of the health and fitness stuff and evolved towards one of the things that I always focused on in my writing was motivation, helping people get off the couch to exercise and eat better. So I've just evolved into more general science-based motivational writing. And that's what this book is a science-based motivation, quote unquote, self-help book.
Sure. Excellent. So what was it that got you interested in writing in the first place?
Being an unpopular kid, I think, probably helped quite a bit. I was the daydreamer that liked to tell himself stories and fantasize, and I really enjoyed reading growing up. I read a lot of fantasy and science fiction novels, and one of my biggest influences was Roger Zelazny, as well as Stephen Brust with his Vlad Taltis series. And but then I did in university, I struggled for a while until I figured out that I really liked history. And I did a bachelor's and a master's degree in history, mm-hmm. because it enables you to tell a story. You're writing about something that happened, even though it's academic analysis. That was something that really caught on for me, was that I just loved doing that. And then when I went on and I did an MBA and I worked in business for many years, and I always found that my skill as a writer was very beneficial to my career. Mm-hmm. And at the age of 40, I decided, what, I want to do this full time. This is what I want to do for a living. And I thought about writing a novel, but I having that MBA, I looked at the finances of it and said, the chances of actually making a living at this are not that great. And well, there was also the fact that I really wasn't very good when it came to fiction. Mm-hmm. But health and fitness was a real passion for me. And that was one where I did that marketing analysis and realized, what? Most health and fitness writers are really crappy. I think I can do better than them. And so I launched into it. And within a year, I had a column at the LA Times, despite being a Canadian living in Canada. And let me tell you, there's no shortage of fitness experts in LA.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I find it fascinating because I've interviewed a number of writers on this podcast. You're the first one who has done like a cost-benefit analysis before writing a novel, and that's a very interesting and exciting approach. I'm curious then. So the moment you decided around 40 to stop what you were doing and then transition to writing, like did you have to go through some hurdles? Did you Was there fear involved? Like, what was that? What were you really thinking? And how did you push past the trepidation to actually transition to a brand new career at 40?
Well, I will tell you, Yuri, that every writer should have what I have, and that is a spouse who is a doctor.
Okay, fair enough.
But no, there was an opportunity that popped up that that really cemented the fact that this was going to happen. So there was an executive director role for a not-for-profit that was 20 hours a week that still paid quite well. So I thought, I can do this job 20 hours a week. Yeah, I'm going to take a hit income-wise, but still, there's going to be some decent money coming in until I build this up. And I said to my wife, I said, literally, the exact words were, if I don't try and do this, I'm going to die, because I've been thinking about it for years. And she said, you got to do it. We'll make it work. And so for 2.5 years, I still had this reasonable paying part-time job while I built up my freelancer business. And the thing about choosing health and fitness was that there were so many opportunities. There were so many freelancer writing opportunities. You can write books, you can do speaking, you can be a consultant, you can train people. And there was just so many different potential revenue streams, being a well-known expert in this field. And I've actually phased out the majority of my freelance writing now because my blog is doing so well. I have not Google AdSense, but actually a good quality advertising company that I partnered with that I make good money off my blog. And then, there's I got a very generous offer from my publisher for this book, and the speaking stuff is taking off. So there was just my analysis of the potential financial upside for this made it way more viable. And I still got to focus on something that I love doing. Yeah. Now that being said, I have not given up on the dream of being a novelist. So now I have another 10 years of writing experience where I feel like, okay, I'm better now. I might actually be able to pull a novel off. Plus, this is my second book. I have a large social media presence and a big dedicated following that when I get to the point where I can retire, which isn't too far off, and I don't have to, and I get tired of nonfiction and I don't want to do this nonfiction stuff anymore, I can say, fine, well, I can write a novel now and use my connections and my fan base. And if nobody buys it, who cares? I don't need the money anyway.
Exactly. Well, great.
But I want people to buy it. I'm still going to try and write a decent novel. I don't want to buy something and say, I don't want people saying, wow, he really should have stuck with nonfiction because this is terrible.
Right.
Worst sex scene ever.
So, as you've started in your writing career, you started a blog. Oh, actually, was it a website or a blog that was Body for Wife?
Yes, so that's still my URL. Okay. And that was an old joke from friends from years ago, from when the whole Body for Life thing was really popular.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that Bill Phillips Body for Life.
Yes, connection. Exactly, Bill Phillips. And my friends were all doing Body for Life. Yeah. And I was better shape than they were. and I had been quite overweight, and just as an impetus, it was a joke, right? That right. I decided I'm going to get in shape before I propose to my girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And so I did. And I mean, it really didn't have anything to do with her. It was just, on a whim, and it worked. And it turned out that I really liked fitness and I'd be lying if I said she didn't appreciate my efforts, yeah. But it was around 2002 thereabouts. Me and my buddies were working out, and they were doing the Body for Life thing, and somebody made a joke saying, what's your secret? And I just blurted out, I'm on the Body for Wife program, and they laughed. They thought it was funny. So I said, that's going to be my URL. Yeah. And even now that I've transitioned sort of away from fitness, I thought, well, when you've got a really popular URL, you don't change it.
Right.
that's internet death. And so I just said, okay, I'm keeping the URL and cause it's who I am, and I'm still happily married, so I don't have to worry about it from that perspective.
Right. So then in 2014, you wrote up your first book, Lose It Right, about fitness and weight loss. So why did you decide to write the fitness book?
Well, because that was what I was deeply in. That was my focused area of expertise was health, fitness, weight loss. And I learned some lessons about the book industry with writing that book. So like I said, I'm Canadian. That book was published by Random House Canada, the largest publishing company in the country. And, we got a good advance for it and it did well in Canada. We could not sell it in the United States. And the reason for that being, I ended up firing my agent, got a new agent, and they said that the United States is ground zero for stupid diets. And my writing has always been very science-based. I'm a no BS kind of guy where I was the one exposing myths and exposing stupid fad diets and that kind of stuff. And so with this transition, part of it was, I've been doing health and fitness for many years and I was getting a little tired of it and wanted to expand my reach and expand my knowledge base and understanding. But it was also a marketing decision where the two biggest nonfiction genres in the United States are diet books and self-help. And the thing, I didn't write a diet book. I wrote a weight loss book. It is, I put my MBA to work and it was about creating a personalized strategy for the reader on how they can lose weight. And there was dietary information in there, but it was still quite big picture. It wasn't a plan like a paleo diet or a blood type diet or a keto diet or some other fad, fancy place where expensive, houses are and just eat pineapples and cabbage soup diet or some crap like that.
Right.
And so I wasn't going to write some pseudoscientific crap diet book just so I could sell books. And the other genre that was really popular was self-help. And I thought, well, I've learned so much from 10 years of writing motivation. Like the hardest thing that people will ever do for a lot of them is lose weight. And I was good at motivating people to lose weight. And I thought, well, hell, if I can motivate people to lose weight, why can't I motivate them to do anything? Yeah. So that was expanding it out into general, again, science-based motivation. There's a lot of crap in self-help that's either wishy-washy, you can do it ad nauseum, not science-based. And I thought, well, I am going to write a science-based self-help motivational book. And so we did the proposal and, my agent sent it out. And the next day he said, yeah, you got to get on a plane to New York because we got a lot of interest in this. I've got meetings set up already. And I said, hell yeah, I'm on my way.
That's fantastic. And that's the start of your new book that's coming out in January?
Yes.
Okay.
That was it's been a ride. I feel like ever since I got that book deal, I feel like so this is my first big US book deal. So it's North America for St. Martin's Press,
okay,
which is part of Macmillan, and we've also sold UK rights to HarperCollins. And, hopefully some other international deals will come in. And the Macmillan even paid me to do the audio recording. So if people don't mind listening to my voice and they like audiobooks, then they can get the audio recording and listen to me read the whole damn thing.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I was wondering if you could go in just a little bit detail because the audience listening is very much into the details. So you already had a successful blog and you were writing for multiple magazines. You came out with your first book. And then so when was it, I guess, let's say after your first book that you decided this is the next topic I want to do? And then how did you systematically start working with an agent who then pitched it to a U.S. audience?
Oh, I love talking about this stuff. So okay. I'm happy to go into the details because so there was a few different things. Blogging was very helpful because it put me really in touch with the ins and outs of what goes and what doesn't. I was always fascinated when an article of mine blew up, picking apart why. And if something that I thought was going to do great died, I had to figure out, well, why did nobody read this? So that was one of the things that I started to really analyze popularity